welcome to Wedding Talk Radio and our new little podcast that we have going on. So, the whole point of this is that Wedding Talk Radio is a podcast and a journey towards eventually getting married. And that's the whole point of this show specifically. I'm on today 100% by myself, but in the future, I will also be on with my co-host who will be in the background. And then a guest who will be able to help us navigate through the different problems and issues that people are going through in life's journeys. And so that's what the whole point of this is. So let me just give you a quick little introduction of who I am. My name is Steven, otherwise known as DJ SK, and I've been a DJ for 28 years, not just on radio, but also in regular life, doing bigger events, weddings, parties, events, quinces, clubs. I've done it all. Everything you can imagine. So, having done that, I was out into the world, and I also was drinking a lot of soda. I used to drink and eat horribly, and along the lines, I decided to start working out because I hit about 290 pounds. It doesn't look like it now, and don't think that this was easy to get to where I am now, but I started working out, and it became my obsession. It really, really became an obsession with me because I was working out hard, sometimes 2-3 times a day, just trying to lose weight. I wanted to lose weight just for a veritable number of reasons, but honestly the biggest one is because in my family, being pre-diabetic has been a death sentence for most of the men. So when I was told that was where I was, my guess was a lot of the soda was probably a big contributing factor to that. But either way, I worked out a lot, became an obsession, and I ended up getting injured. Ended up having a neck issue where my joints came down onto the little nerve and pinched my nerve, and it shut off both arms. Then ended up having to do a neck surgery, which you can see right here on camera, and it put me out of commission for about a year. Got up to even higher of a weight than I was before. Essentially, I had to start back over. Doing so, I ended up meeting the main sponsors of our channel, which is the Camp Transformation Center. All right, so speaking of the camp and them, because they're being the main sponsors of the channel, let me just give you a little example of what they do. So for me, when I went back, I was learning all over again, starting from scratch. And the one thing that the director had told me is just start with no weights. Just do the movements. Lube up the joints and get yourself situated, because I was frustrated. I couldn't lift the weights. I could barely hold a soda can in my hands, because of the neck injury that I had and the pinched nerve that still to this day bothers me. But I have learned through trial how to get to the point to where I am now, where I can lift a lot of weight. But back then I couldn't. I couldn't even lift, like I said, barely a soda can. So I started with no weights at all. The best part of the camp was the community. Was the fact that everybody who was there is going through their own struggle and their own journey, and they're looking for just as much of an uplift as they're giving to you. And so you're there helping them through their journey, some of them being ahead of you, some of them being behind you, but all of you being together on this journey and supporting each other when I feel exhausted and I can't lift another weight, I can't do another rep. The person next to you going, hey, you got this, don't give up. Or you look over and you see them struggling, but they're still going because they're looking at you and you're still going. That's the huge thing about the camp and the community that comes with it. It's an amazing thing. And as the coaches walk around, they're teaching you the proper form. If they see you out of form, they'll pause you. They'll stop you and go, hold on, lift it like this or you're going to get hurt. Lift it like that. This is the form for this. And even before the class even starts, they walk around and they demonstrate every single exercise you're about to do and with the proper form. How to lift like this, how to lift like that, and they'll correct you as they go along. And that to me has been a huge blessing because I don't want to get injured again. I was there. I got injured at one point, and then one of my biggest fears is getting injured again. And so you throw in the fact that once a month they have specific classes for you. And these classes, they're amazing. One of them teaches you about diet, food, and lifestyle changes that come along with it. Nobody likes the word diet. Everybody hates the word diet. But they teach you recipes of good foods, foods that we're used to eating, but a healthier version of it. They even taught us, I'm a huge fan of chorizo, and they taught us a different type of chorizo. I honestly can't remember the name. I have it at home written out. And that chorizo was less calories, less fat, less everything in it, but it tastes exactly the same. You would never know. I'm a huge fan of chips. Huge. It's probably one of the reasons why I got as fat as I was, is because I would always stop at the store and buy myself a soda and chips. They taught me that there's a thing out there called protein chips. Amazing. Never thought those existed. I can tell you honestly, they taste exactly the same. In fact, in my opinion, the barbecue ones actually taste better than regular barbecue chips. Figure that out, right? So all of these different things are lifestyle changes that could help you along the way. So if you're looking for a place, I highly recommend them. They're the main sponsor of the channel, but they're also one of the main reasons I am where I am now, fit and form. And from there, I started going to another gym. And as I went to this other gym, I followed one of the other trainers who did a Zumba class there. And that Zumba class was amazing. Absolutely amazing. I got made fun of constantly because of it, but it was an amazing class. And I discovered that I really love to dance. I really love, well, obviously, right? I'm a DJ, music, dancing, duh. They kind of go hand in hand. But I discovered that I loved it for working out as well, and that there was benefits to it. I also learned how to just be more free with what I choose, what I love, what I like, because I didn't care what others' opinions were. And I was able to go out and do these different activities like a Zumba class. Now, in that class, this is how we get to where we're coming, why this podcast exists. I met a woman, and I never, ever imagined in my lifetime that I would be where I am because of this woman. When I first met her, she was going through her own life troubles just as much as I was. But one day, she happened to be getting her stuff because she stood right next to me. And I always make this joke, and you'll hear this joke throughout the future podcast episodes, that she threw the foam roller at me. Now, in all reality, she just grabbed her stuff and dropped the foam roller in front of me. But this will be the only time I mention that in this podcast. The rest of the time, it's a running joke that she threw the foam roller at me. And in this process, I gave her what she felt was an amazing compliment. And that compliment was, "It's nice to see you smile again." I didn't know that I just literally turned her entire world upside down by giving her that compliment. But in the process, we ended up finding a connection together of something I can never, ever describe to you. Now, let me explain something. As a DJ, I have been around thousands of individuals. Thousands. Men, women, anything in between. And I have never found a connection, a soul-to-soul connection with another person the way I did with Rose. Rose was my connection that I never saw coming. Never. And in her mind, she's also expressed the fact that she never saw me coming. Neither one of us was ever looking for another person. Never. But we found that connection. We spent the entire summer, honestly, just sitting in a parking lot together, talking half the time. Really just getting to know the other individual. And we spent the better part of 3 months talking. And we would find every reason in the world, every excuse you could imagine, to just go see each other and sit in the parking lot and talk. It was amazing. It honestly was amazing. And if you can ever find a connection like this in life, this is what I definitely express to you to find, is find that connection. From that connection, develop love. And it developed a love that I can never, ever explain how deeply we both love each other. We tell each other all the time how much we truly love each other. And it's a love that comes so incredibly easy. It's one that I really haven't had to try to do. Not at all. So during that time period, we learned from each other. We grew from each other. And it felt like we just needed to be around each other because that connection was so incredibly strong. But, don't think that this is just a fairy tale and it ends here. No, absolutely not. Just like any other couple, we've hit our bumps in the road, and we've hit many. To at one point, our relationship became very, very toxic with each other. It was a love, and the love is what held us together. But I can tell you that those issues were rough. During that time period, we wished that we would have had other people around to help us. We wish that other people would have been able to just understand who we are. And the reality is that nobody could really understand us. We were something different because we had kept it a secret. We had kept it between us. We had kept this relationship so quiet that we never told anyone that we were having problems until finally, the one person I decided to trust and tell as we were standing in the parking lot was my Zumba class teacher, whom will eventually come on to this show. And I'm not going to say her name until she does. But she will eventually come on to the show. And when she does, she'll be able to explain to her side of what she felt. But she gave us some of the best advice ever. And from there, we started involving other people into this relationship. People at the camp. The director at the camp, amazing guy, gave us some of the most amazing advice. Stop worrying about other people's opinions. Worry about your own. Start focusing on your own issues in the relationship, not anything else. During that time period, if we would have had these people during those toxic moments, we probably would have been able to navigate them a lot better. Honestly, we would have been able to just get through them a lot easier. But that's not the way God intended it. And so we found our church. We started going to church. We really started involving God into our life. And along the way, we've learned so many lessons. And those lessons are the reason why we are here today, sitting in front of you in this podcast. We are on our journey to eventually getting married. And everything that we've gone through are things that we want to help you get through. Because there are people whom are married that are still dealing with our issues. And don't think that our issues are gone. No, they're still a work in progress. But that doesn't mean we don't have the answers and we know how to now navigate them in the best way possible. And so we're going to bring on professionals of every type, from people from the gym that we deal with, from counselors that we've spoken to other couples who have been married for long periods of time, who have gone through those specific issues, who are willing to give us their opinions. There's a couple coming up on one of the very first episodes whom have been married for 22 years. They met 1 month. For 1 month, they met each other and got married 1 month later. They've been married for 22 years. That is an amazing accomplishment, and I cannot imagine the number of issues they had to navigate themselves through, and I cannot wait to hear their story. They're one of the few people coming up. We also have podcast issues that'll be coming up of how to learn how to stop fighting with your partner. Everybody wants to know that one. I don't know anybody who doesn't want to sit down and stop fighting with their partner, and I can honestly tell you that me and Rose still have our own arguments every day. We bicker at each other all the time. But we have learned how to listen and respect each other, where some of those arguments just fall off to the wayside and they just become conversations. How to deal with working out. How does working out help someone deal with anxiety, depression? Going through whatever your issues are, is it just a distraction or is it something that's stress relieving? We're going to bring on the directors of the camp and ask them that question. One's a male, one's a female. You'll get both perspectives in 2 different episodes so that no matter who you are, you're able to finally hear and understand what these people have went through, what they're going through today. So we want you guys to get the best help possible. If you have something that you want to hear, a topic you want to hear, I implore you, please put it down in the comments. I will read and answer back as many comments as humanly possible. We want everyone to have their say as we work on our way to getting married. I look forward to the future episodes with you guys. I look forward to hearing from you guys. And I look forward to what's to come next. And until then, Wedding Talk Radio. We'll see you later.